a woman that he sees butt booty naked
every day
in the mirror, in the window across the street
diagonally.
And we will get to who that woman is a little bit later on. Yo, welcome back to Likkle Table. We are your host, your favorite neighborhood roster,
and your favorite co-host, Tracy.
Here for the commencement of episode number 81, and this week will be a show review episode from a show we reached. Well, I watched the show for the first time back in high school. I just put her on following week. Skins US. Now that is an American adaptation of Skins from Britain. They were the first people to make it, and the Americans remade it. So that's the one we're gonna be talking about. And shouts out to the Laws of Music / the Law Cooper for providing us with the ambiance you're hearing throughout the episode. And since we done locked in with each other, go stream that boy music on YouTube, Apple Music, all kind of stuff. So, before I forget, my second item, for those of you that don't know, I started growing a bonsai tree, a baby bonsai, and this was the original pot that it came in before the roots started growing out of the dang drain hole. So Skins US, and I have to reiterate US because of the original being made in Britain. Takes place, I don't necessarily know the specific town, but I know it's somewhere like up north / Midwest area.
Based off of how their houses are, they definitely live somewhere up north.
Now, how the show is portrayed and structured, they have 9 episodes because it's pretty much 9 people in the group, and each person has their own episode that dives deeper into their background, but everything ties into each other. So with that being said, since we're only doing the review for the first episode, we're going to mention the characters as they're introduced, but we won't dive deeper into who they actually are until we review their episode. First episode starts off with pretty much the main character, Tony.
I don't like him. I don't like Tony. Screw Tony.
At first glance, Tony is, I guess you could say, the perfect high school dude.
The cool kid.
The jock. He plays sports and all the girls love him. And he got good grades. He do all kind of extracurricular activities. But under the surface, this man is very diabolical.
He's a menace.
He be moving on
very goddamn menace to society.
Very vociferous timing that boy be on. But and I can't even say but
he
because
has no
his first the first thing we see him do is set up a decoy pretty much, or a distraction, so his little sister Yura can sneak into the house.
Pretty much, yeah.
First of all, why is she sneaking in the house?
That's the first thing.
Because mind you, he's
I
only
on her ass.
He's only maybe a junior in high school, and she's younger than him. So she's outside wilding. Yura don't talk. She's mute. I guess she's going on some kind of a strike. Yep.
She's going through a phase. Ain't that what your parents call it?
And we'll dive into why when we get to that episode.
Yeah, she's going through something right now. Troubled child.
But you see Tony do his little morning routine and stuff like that, set up the distraction for his little sister, and then start to mess with his father. He plays pranks on his father, locks the bathroom door and climbs out the window, comes to the front door so he can't go in the bathroom unless he break open the lock.
I would have whooped Tony ass, and I had to take a poop. His daddy had a poop.
Oh, and there's also a woman that he sees butt booty naked
every day
in the window across the street
diagonally.
And we will get to who that woman is a little bit later on. But on the way to school, this man starts calling pretty much all of the other main characters. And this is where the links start to form. He first tries to call Stanley Lucerne. Stanley is my dog.
Stanley is Tony's best friend.
He always been my dog, and he always will. Before I even seen the last episode, I knew he was gonna be my dog. But first glance, Stanley, he's a bit of a slacker.
He's a square.
He's a little messy. He doesn't really have too many concerns. He's very lackadaisical. Shows up late to school if he shows up at all. He's not a square. He just
because he gonna have him a little drink. He gonna turn up with his friends.
He definitely gonna smoke.
Yeah, so he not a he definitely gonna smoke that weed. So he ain't a square.
And he's also a virgin, which brings us.
He's like the beginning stages of a hippie, if you really think about it. The way you just described him, real lackadaisical, don't really care about much, show up late to school, smoke weed, gonna drink a little bit. It's giving beginning stages of a hippie.
Stanley is your typical skater dude. He just don't have the skateboard.
Yeah. He got the haircut and everything.
Dressed like one and everything. Baggy jeans, big shoes.
He got the jacket. Little
So Tony tries to call Stanley. Stanley is dead asleep in the bed. Doesn't answer the phone.
Class.
He then calls Michelle. Michelle just so happens to be.
You gonna break it to him smooth?
I can't yet though, because the plot hasn't even twisted yet. Michelle is in the group. He calls Michelle. He calls
Stanley's
Michelle
best friend. We can say that.
You
could definitely say they best friends.
She's one of Stanley's best friends. They grew up together.
Tony too. Tony is technically Stanley's best friend. So them three real close. Them
three grew up together pretty much. But Stanley and Michelle knew each other before Tony moved to the neighborhood.
They got a little bit more
history,
friendship up on Tony.
So he calls Michelle Nips because apparently she has funny looking nipples. She doesn't like that. He asks her if she's going to help Stanley with his virginity situation. She asks him, is he serious? He says yes. She says she'll think about it. So
are you going to explain when and how he asked her? It wasn't just like they were sitting next to each other,
No, I said that he started calling everybody. He's still on the phone at this point. So the next phone call he makes is to either Daisy or Chris. I think it was Chris. Chris, for lack of a better phrase, is pretty much the party animal of the group. When he calls him, he's in the middle of getting it in with a girl in a tent.
Whose teeth are really scary.
Very buck tooth. Very, very, very buck tooth.
Overly buck tooth. That ain't even very.
He asked him about some party later on or whatever. Chris said he ain't gonna make it because he's going to some party with Abood and Taya. They get off the phone.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. But ain't Abood the name of the goddamn monkey in Aladdin? Correct me if I'm wrong. That is pretty goddamn racist to me.
I think so. I'm not that familiar with Aladdin.
I think that monkey's name in that movie is Abu. That's messed up.
But I mean, that's a very common name in India, I guess.
Really?
Or in the Indian culture.
Oh, wow. That's interesting to know.
So he calls Abu. Abu is indeed in the middle of an Indian prayer ceremony. Still answers the phone. His uncle snatches him by the ear, drags him out of the room, starts cussing at him in Indian.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then he asks him the same question if he's going to some party later on tonight. He tells him the same thing Chris told him. He's going to a party with Chris and Taya. He then calls Taya. Taya is a gay cheerleader. Some people know it, some people don't. She don't really hide it, but she don't flaunt it either. He asks her about this lesbian party that she's taking Chris and Abu to. She explains it to him a little bit briefly while they're, practicing their cheers and stuff. And they end up getting off the phone.
A gay cheerleader being on a cheerleader team.
Right. Ironic.
Right. Like for dudes, that's normal, but for girls, that's wow.
So he hasn't called Stanley yet. What he does is he calls Stanley's house phone, and Stanley's dad picks up. He says Stanley has a test in 15 minutes. He wasn't answering the phone. He was worried about him. He said he was going to be late. This man tweaks the hell out on the phone, and it cuts to
completely
Stanley
tweaks.
Laying down, still asleep, cover snatched off of him. Woof. And stuff just starts flying around the room. He gets woken up. Stanley calls Tony back. Tony asks Stanley if he's ready for the little virginity situation. I guess he said he was going to help him lose his virginity. So he ultimately says yes.
Because he's a horny bastard. My bad. All of these children are horny bastards.
Because he then proceeded to get off the phone and jack off. Mm-hmm. So Stanley and Tony end up meeting at school. Stanley's eating his little breakfast that looked like lunch, kinda, I guess. He had it all on his face. He was being messy. Tony was talking to him about, the virginity stuff, and Michelle comes walking in. Now, the whole time Michelle's walking up, Stanley's asking, or he's getting excited asking if he's going to be sleeping with Michelle. Tony doesn't say yes or no. Michelle then proceeds to sit on Tony's lap and tongue kiss this man in the mouth
in front of
for a good 30 seconds. And didn't even stop until Stanley asked if he was getting laid or if he should just film them so he could use that for his spank bank.
This is where the plot thickens, because Tony and Michelle are a goddamn couple, and Stanley has had a crush on Michelle since they was fucking kids, but he's such a punk. He can't stand up on his 10 toes and say something, and he done let this funky bastard move into the neighborhood and swindle his goddamn woman, all from a young buck up to high school. That's the love triangle right there. And it ain't even really a triangle, cause they don't even stunt Stanley and his crush.
For real.
Clearly.
It's like everybody knows that Stanley had the crush on Michelle, but they don't really care. So she then breaks the plan down and says that she found a girl for Stanley to lose his virginity to. The girl's name is Katie. This is where Katie gets introduced, because he then goes to meet Katie for the first time.
Very pretty girl.
She's indeed attractive.
She got some big eyes though.
Indeed. But from what they say, Katie is crazy. Like, on multiple medication, crazy.
I was gonna say,
hearing voices.
She ain't got a medicine cabinet. That bitch got a medicine bookshelf with doors on it. She got a wardrobe, a medicine wardrobe.
We're gonna get there. So, one of the last things Michelle says before Stanley goes to meet Katie is that she just got out of the hospital, and that the doctor says she's not supposed to be around knives.
Mind you, this is the crazy hospital we're talking about.
He goes to meet Katie, and she is in the kitchen
with several knives,
hanging stuff upside down.
We can't even tell you her backstory. Jesus Christ, we can't even tell you why she crazy.
They meet or whatever. She tells him to get a lot of drugs. He assumes she means weed. She doesn't mean weed. She means pills, like hard pills.
Cause she's a dope fiend.
Indeed. So at this point in time,
he contacts Tony.
Right, because he's on the way to go get the weed. Because Tony says he has to go take a test, and he got to go audition for this choir at this all-girls school. Plot twist.
Like, how the hell you, like, what?
How do you even find out about this position?
How do you even get an audition to an all-girls school?
But that's neither here nor there.
I was going to say, that's the point.
So, Stanley's on the way to go meet the plug, pretty much. The plan is for him to get a zip, an ounce, 28 grams, for those who don't know what those terms mean.
Mind you, they had a conversation before he went to go get this weed. Stanley pretty much told him, this bitch want me to get drugs, and I ain't got no money for no drugs that she asking for. And Tony's disrespectful, lying, conniving ass tells him the plug will front him said zip. And for those who don't know, that's a lot of zip. I mean, that's a lot of weed.
28 grams.
Okay.
Depending on how you roll, it's about 28 joints, give or take. Like I said, depending on how you roll.
It don't matter how you roll it. That's what come in the goddamn bag. Shoot.
So while he's on the way to, go find the plug or whatever, Tony's doing his audition and stuff like that. After the audition, he gets the part, of course, because why wouldn't he? He's the dang main character. He runs into one of the only male faculty on the school campus, which pretty much he asks him why he's there. He tells him he's auditioning for the girls' choir and stuff like that because they need boy parts. He was trying to be funny. He proceeds to fix his shirt collar and his tie and walk off. So the dude tries to stop him. He keeps walking, and he presses this button on the wall. I guess it's an alarm. And the security guards come running around the corner, run right past Tony, and tackle the faculty member. Now that part I felt like was a bit of a stretch. Or it's like it's showing you how much juice Tony really had, because he done already got to the security guards beforehand and was like, listen, if anybody hit that alarm, just know it's for me. So if you see me walking, just hit the person who hit the alarm.
Because how they tackle their own faculty?
That's why I said it was a stretch.
How you didn't recognize this man? Like, oh shit. I know after they got up, they was like, that guy. My bad, boss. It's too late now. He's gone. Yeah, we just gonna sweep this one under the rug. If they fire all of us, it won't be no security.
So during this time, Stanley finds the plug's house. The plug lives in a very nice house in a very nice neighborhood with a truck parked outside with a license plate on it that says Mad Dong 1. Apparently this man's name is Mad Maladon. First of all,
what?
Why are you getting weed from somebody named that? Why are you mad, first of all? I don't want to be doing business with nobody that's mad all the time. Because you can take that anger out on me and we just gonna be mad together. But he finds the house and this dude is also a pimp.
Jesus Christ.
The girls answer the door, whatever, think he's
This man looked like a Russian gone bad. Mind you.
Yeah, he walks in the room. They start chopping it up or whatever.
And then they get to the gate.
He asks Stanley what he there for. Stanley say he there for an ounce. He asks him for the money. Stanley then says somebody told him that he can get the weed now and pay later.
He asked for a part, for those who don't know.
This man then proceeds to like tweak out and asked him, like he tweaked out to the point to where Stanley was about to leave, but when Stanley was about to leave, he was like, nah, this is your game if you want to play it. Do you want to play it? At that point in time, Stanley should have just said hell no and walked out.
Clean out the door.
But no, he says yes.
Retard.
So instead of 1 ounce, he gives this man 4 ounces, which is a quarter pound, and says that he owes him $900 in 48 hours.
2 days?
From right now.
Hold it.
He pushes him back down on the couch, sits down next to him, real close like, lights a cigarette in one hand, asks him a very peculiar question. And the question was if he had balls.
I would hope so.
Stanley said yes. He said that was cool. He then proceeds to grab his balls very hard, vice grip like.
Like, what you call it did on Friday. Cat Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No. Like Cat Williams did with Terry Crews.
Very much so. And then says, no, that's when he tells him he owes him $900 even, and he got 48 hours. And don't play with him.
Well, something about his balls being collateral.
Right, you're right. His balls was collateral.
Yeah, because he did, he had the bruised and things.
Now, during this time, Tony is trying to get in contact with Stanley to tell him to not get the drugs because their plan was to get the front, sell some of the drugs to make the money for the front, and smoke the rest of the weed, I guess, with Katie or whatever. But Tony met up with Chris, Taya, and Abu, who were smoking in the school bathroom, and they told him that it would be crazy for him to buy weed to sell because of some sports team coming into town and pretty much blessing everybody. So everybody had weed already and wasn't buying no weed for it. He tried to get in contact with Stanley. Stanley's not answering the phone. They meet up later at this party.
It's always the parties with them children.
Stanley tells him he didn't answer his phone because his phone was off, but he doesn't say why. He then starts seeing all the messages and stuff when he cuts his phone back on and everything. Michelle and Katie walk up before Stanley can tell Tony about the weed and everything like that. So they go into the party. Mind you, this is a party thrown by one of the girls on the all-girls choir that invited Tony there.
This Dolly Parton looking girl
that has a crush on Tony, and Tony knows. So they're in her house or whatever. They start partying a little bit. Katie go outside. Stanley eventually follows her, and then Chris, Abood, and Taya show up. That's when the party really gets started. Now, as everybody's inside partying, Stanley and Katie are outside on a trampoline. They're jumping, they're having themselves a good time.
Crazy person in the time. Jesus Christ.
So they talking or whatever. They stop jumping, they're laying down on the trampoline looking at the stars all cute like, and eventually get to, well, Katie peeps that Stanley loves Michelle and calls it out first quarter. He was like, is that noticeable? She was like, yes, it definitely is that noticeable. So they're having a little bit more of a conversation. She then asks, are they going to do anything? Because she took a lot of pills. She might fall asleep. So he asks what kind of pills, and she don't answer. And that's because she's passed the hell out. Now, we don't know this yet. We think she's dead. So he drags off the trampoline, heads back into the house. Now, at this time, a fight is about to break out because Chris, the dang party animal,
alcoholic,
I guess his shoes was dirty and he was dancing on this expensive rug, and the girl asked him to take the shoes off. But this nigga proceeds to take his pants off and grab her and start dancing. One of the Chads or Brads or whatever the hell their names is hit Chris. Then Taya hit that dude, and then everybody was just fighting. It was all pandemonium. Stanley walks in carrying Katie, says, yo, we gotta go. They round up everybody, head outside. They wondering how the hell they gonna get to the hospital because don't nobody got no car. Now,
Jesus.
When Chris, Abood, and Taya first got to the party, right when you walk in the door, there was a bowl with everybody's keys and phones and stuff on it. And Chris just so happened to help himself to that bowl and took a pair of keys to an Escalade that was parked outside.
Yeah, nice Escalade too.
So they steal the Escalade to take Katie to the hospital. They're driving all crazy. Finally get to the hospital.
Half drunk and stuff.
Right, everybody. Mind you, they like 8 deep in this thing.
Luckily, an Escalade can fit that many damn people.
Daisy was with Taya, Chris, and Abood too. I forgot all about her. But all of them in this Escalade, they get to the hospital. As soon as they pull up, they look at Katie to go take her inside. She done dang woke up. Talking about she gotta pee. So they go take her to pee. And it's like they park in front of this ravine looking lake retention pond looking thing. So
it was like a little wall.
Right, and I guess it was inclined. They had the car parked. They started talking about smoking or whatnot. Started looking around for rolling utensils. Tony, who is in the driver's seat, says he has some papers in his back seat and asks somebody to grab them for him. The person that he asked to grab them, I think, was Stanley, that was sitting in the passenger seat. And he put the car in drive. Either in neutral or in drive.
It wouldn't matter.
The truck started rolling.
Exactly. That thing went Humpty Dumpty and rolled off the damn wall, okay? I'm talking
into
about
the water.
Nose deep, clean into the little retention pond. I was looking at the TV like, oh shit, they is dead. The car is finna fill up with water and they is finna die. Lo and behold, everybody popped back up.
They start popping up one by one.
Single last person popped up.
Now
I was so relieved.
Now remember, Stanley has this 1/4 pound of weed in his possession at this time that gets lost in the truck that falls in the water. So now he owes this plug $900, don't got no weed and no money. Everybody's walking home, soaking
Everybody.
wet, except for Katie, because she's the only one that didn't fall in. She was pissing.
Surprisingly, that hoe was pissing when everybody was about to die. And they don't know she gonna go and peek over the thing. Ho, jump in there, cause you know what? At least get wet, cause you ain't no way. So we almost die, cause you wanna die.
And the last scene was pretty much Stanley and Tony laying in bed. Not like that, but
one of them was under the covers, the other one was on top of the covers.
Right. So Tony proceeds to ask Stanley if he was still a virgin. Stanley says yes. Tony asks after all he did for him. Stanley says yes. Tony then says something about it's embarrassing or something like that, or some along those lines. And then he again says yeah. And then that was the end of episode 1. Tony.
It was a good episode though. I feel like Tony facilitated this whole episode though.
I think that was the point, because it was that was the episode that was named after him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of went deeper into his story in Yuri's episode too. But yeah, if you haven't already, get into Skins US. It's available on Apple TV. I think it's on Prime Video, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, episode 1 was way too much. Too quick. It was definitely a nice setup for the things to come though. Pause. Like I said, we ain't gonna dive too deep into what those things are, because those are gonna be different episodes. Because it's either 9 or 10 episodes in total. So gotta give us a good amount of leeway with that.
But yeah, I like the show. I feel like them type of shows that like keep me interested. Like it be a lot going on, but I can keep up. Cause after that first episode, and it starts showing like everybody's story, it kind of makes sense why everybody friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of makes sense, like, especially when we got to that last episode with Yura, and all that stuff happened, and she said what she said to Tony. And when you really think about it, it's like, yeah, I see why she said that. And then we really think about it, like you say, Tony, he a real lackadaisical sloppy person. So to me, Stanley. So for me, it's like, okay, she said what she said to Tony about Stanley. But Stanley, that means you low-key need to get on your shit, because we ain't really doing, your persona right now is real. I like what they did, when it came to the club, how they incorporated Tony's family. I think the way they incorporated everybody's family was nice too. Like, it didn't do too much. It did just enough to like explain
how everybody.
Yeah. Especially is it Tyra? Is it Tyra that plays the trumpet? Or am I? Daisy. Whose name is Tyra? Or something start with a T?
Taya.
Taya is
the gay girl.
Okay. Yeah. Her, I don't know, she blew me with that hospital scene. Too many germs enough for that. I think I would have liked to see a little bit more of a boo. like overall. Like don't get me wrong, like Abu definitely did his big one in the show. He definitely did. I just think they could have done a little bit more for him, like, you know how they give everybody their episode and their storyline. They could have gave us a little bit more with Abu.
I can't say what I want to say without saying too much, but I'm gonna just say they did. It's just how the episode was. It was different from the other ones because of the location. But yes, I stumbled upon this series on a random school night. Fell asleep with MTV on. I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I think the very first episode was either just coming on or just about to go off. So started watching it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fall asleep after this episode go off. By the time the episode ended, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch the next episode and I'm gonna go to sleep. Next thing I knew, it was time for me to go to school. I had binge watched that whole show in the morning. And this is back when it was on TV. Like, you had to watch commercials. There wasn't no skip buttons. I was locked the hell in for no reason.
No! I remember those days. Boy, do I remember those days. I remember when I was a kid, my mama, she would always get a VHS and a DVD player put together, so that way she didn't have to have two stacked on top of each other.
Them things didn't last that long.
What? They never did. So after a while, she was just like to hell with it. If you
get a DVD player and a VCR separately, they'll equally last longer than the one.
Yeah, and I think because I remember them things would always get hot too. Like when my mama would have her, she would never have nothing around it. It would always just be that by itself. And she would always have like a DVD book. But see, like stuff like that, I would get mad because it would be stuff that I would wake up, like you say, late night, catch on TV, and like I wouldn't be able to watch it because it's like rated R, stuff like that.
Oh, I definitely wasn't supposed to be watching that.
Yeah, but like, see, that's the thing. My problem is, but see, my thing is, what's funny is my mom in that DVD book. I don't know if the movie she had was from when like her and my dad was together, and she just kept all the DVDs and they was just in the book, or like she just didn't remember them. But some of the stuff she had on DVD, so it was like some stuff, I can't even remember which one. It was something like called Weeds or some show like that.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
I started watching it on DVD. My mama came in there and was like, cut that off. You don't need to be watching that. It's too much. They cuss too much and stuff in there. And I'm like, but it's in the DVD book. If I can't watch it, why give me such access to it? Like,
I mean,
if I randomly, cause think about it, like I'm young, I'm not knowing what rated R means. You get what I'm saying? And it's in the big DVD book with all the DVDs, everything.
Yeah, Tyler Perry, it was at that point to where she should have explained. All right, the movies with this letter on it, you better not put in that DVD player. Like, catch you watching anything over PG-13?
But see,
I'm on yeah.
I think what it was, honestly and truly, I feel like some stuff my mama knew, like I was ready to watch, and some stuff I wasn't, because like I would watch stuff like the Da Vinci Code with her and like Tom Cruise movies and stuff, and then when it would just be certain things, right? Them movies wasn't bad, but it would just still like certain scenes she would tell me don't look. You get what I'm saying? And I would understand like, okay, they doing something grown folks doing, I don't need to watch. So if she would have explained like,
them days used to be so awkward.
Like what you mean?
Close your eyes. Oh my God.
I'm just sitting here for 35 seconds.
And then you hear the TV like, what are they doing? All right, you can open them. I don't even want to watch the movie no more.
Literally.
Can I go in my room?
I remember when I was a kid, when we used to live on the South, my Uncle Dwight, he bought my mama this big ass screen TV, but it was a box one. That's that, like, how you get a box big screen? And he had got her this
we
thing.
We got one of them too.
Yeah, like he had got her this thing to go around it for her to put like her surround system stuff and like DVDs and stuff on it. And I remember my mama had this CD thing. You put CDs and cassettes in it. Man, one night. So remember how I told you around the corner from my house was my cousin Minnie and my Uncle Bubby. That's where his baby mama people live. So pretty much all of them grew up close together. So it was a Frankie, Beverly, and Maze concert in Jack. Everybody went except my mama. My mama went on a date in Daytona. So everybody was standing. So we, of course, watched a lot of shit we wasn't supposed to watch. That was in the DVD book. But while my cousin had Patti LaBelle on repeat, I'm talking about it's 12, 1 o'clock in the night. We running through the house, ripping and running. Yes, just over and over. Just kept, sister, you've been on my mind. Rewind. Dreamgirls, repeat. What was going on that night? But my point is, like, them was times where like TV was actually good, is what I'm saying. Like, that show was a really good show. So like, thinking about that, it made me think about other shows that like they put on DVD and stuff, where you could find like seasons of it and stuff like that. That it's like, dang.
Well, they canceled Skins US after the first season because the United States is too sensitive. I guess there was all kinds of protests or petitions going around saying that they was promoting. Which is crazy, like,
because the show that I'm talking about, Weeds or whatever it is, that show was very vulgar.
I honestly feel like Skins US don't show nothing that don't happen on the regular in any particular high school student's life.
Yeah, this was definitely
any and everything that happened in that show has the potential to happen to any high schooler. From them going to parties and getting drunk, fighting, different sexualities.
Yeah.
All kind of stuff.
You know, speaking of different sexualities, there's this guy named Patrick Starr. He's not a trans, but he's gay. And he's into like creative makeup and stuff like that. And he's very much so for not pushing.
He's gonna take somebody's whole name. There's been a Patrick Starr.
I think there's a reason
since the 90s.
I believe that, or is it Jeffree Star? It might be Jeffree Star.
Say don't do that. I get Patrick.
But there is a guy named
on the phone right now.
But there is a guy named Jeffree Star's his name. But there is a guy named Patrick that's into cosmetics. Well, Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I'm making. The dude Jeffree pretty much is for the narrative of not. Well, he's for not pushing the narrative of like different sexualities and like trends and stuff like that on kids and incorporating it in the shows, because it's like, regardless of what you do in your home, don't make it to where everybody has to see it and have access to it.
I understand that
a lot of people
the show, mind you, like I said, was running at a time where I was not supposed to be up watching TV.
No, I'm not even saying that, because I feel like at the age those kids were, it wasn't the fact that they were into those type of things and that they were doing it. It was just like, oh my gosh, like these kids are, like, whoa, like, whoa. You get what I'm saying? But I get that was the context of the show. I think what he's saying is younger than that, like kids younger than that. Like, don't push that narrative.
I honestly feel like the problem is it showed a lot of what, because, you know, of the characters. It showed a lot of what the white demographic of kids are into, and the white parents didn't like that their children were into that type of stuff. So to see it on TV, that's like, oh, that's what you into.
It made them go look it.
Right.
Made them go ask me questions.
But
that's normal though. But see, I feel like that's the problem with America. What I feel like the problem is, let me not even say with America. I feel like with the black community. Let's switch real quick. I feel like, you know what? I ain't even gonna switch with the black community. I'm gonna keep it overall. I feel like the problem is like, okay, like you say with that show, it made parents go and think. The problem is the parents direct it with anger. They don't be going and asking questions like, hey, I seen something and it just made me really want to have a conversation. Like, granted, yeah, that ain't gonna be their honest thoughts in that moment, but it's like, what child is gonna want to tell their parent, yeah, I like girls, and you every day down hard on me about everything, and you feel me, you rough and tough on me every little thing I do. I feel like it's a good thing that it make parents want to go and ask questions, because it's like, yeah, y'all be thinking y'all kids so innocent. And they don't be. Like, because I feel like it's one thing for you to know your child.
They get good grades in school, they just not doing that.
Yeah, because like, see, my mom, I always heard my mom say would be like, she knows me. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, if she hears something and it sounds like some shit I did, she gonna believe it, but she gonna ask me what happened. She ain't gonna believe it and not ask no questions. Because 9 times out of 10, something happened for me to do that. And you got to think, a lot of parents don't do that. A lot of parents, like with Tony, for instance, his people probably don't think he out there wilding like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, they probably think because of everything he doing in school, he a good kid.
They feel like he don't got the time to.
Exactly. And it's a lot of parents like that think their kids don't have the time, or they just don't think about stuff like that. But like I say, that at the age that they were in that show, I feel like is the age that a lot of kids start to become curious about a lot of shit. Like, a lot of them was getting ready to become seniors and graduate. So it's like, you can't control what your kids do once they get to college.
It was probably a year or two before I would have been doing that type of stuff. Well, before I started doing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I started smoking, but it wasn't because of that show. It was just because it became accessible to me at those ages. Like, people did their best to keep stuff like that away from me when I was younger.
Yeah, like, when I was younger, my mama would always tell me when people were smoking, like, don't stand around, regardless of what they smoking.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. That was another episode of Likkle Tan Table. We want to give thanks to all of our viewers, listeners, and supporters for dropping in. If you're watching the video on YouTube and like what you saw, please drop the like on the video for us. It's only a click away. Post your comments, share the video with your loved ones, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for us, please. Likkle TT Podcast on YouTube right now.
YouTube, yeah.
And for all of our other listeners and supporters on other streaming services, an example, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, you know, all of the other ones that'll be listed. Make sure y'all drop ratings and comments so we know what y'all thought as well. And another shout out to The Laws of Music / The Laws Cooper for providing us with the Unbeyond Pleasure, with music available for streaming elsewhere as well. And this was your host, your favorite neighborhood roster.
Your favorite co-host.
We up out of here. Peace and blessings.
Bye.